talk about addiction in astrology. The addictions that I will discuss, it's deep kind of addiction that is very serious, and also it can lead to dangerous behaviors, activities. But it really shows in the natal chart if someone have this combination, or perhaps yourself have this placement, and how to navigate these situations if perhaps the Mahadasha timing or perhaps the Antardasha timing is about to arrive. And of course, you want to have a remedy. And I will explain the how you implement this remedy in your daily life. But the planet that I will focus on is mostly, again, Rahu. But of course, any planet can give an addictions. But it is depending on how severely afflicted that planet is. Now, when it comes to Rahu, Rahu is the planet of generally addiction. It amplifies something. And when he touching something and he love it, he repeat that and he keep on repeat. And that is what Rahu is. There is no ending because he just eat, consume without feeling full. Now, if you have connections or placement or even aspect, it's Rahu placed in first house, but mainly when it comes to deep addiction, there is always involvement with the 8th house. Now, why? Let me explain the 8th house. Why? The 8th house is the house of secrecy. Anything that is hidden. You're doing something, someone doing something in secret. Now, Rahu, if there is any aspect to 8 or Rahu placed in the 8th house, if the sign itself, it's considered not good for Rahu. As an example, if the sign is water sign like Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, then these addictions can have really deep, struggling effect. Oh, sorry, just my notifications. Because this sign, it's like you can say, the sign that represents the emotion, jala. Because water, whatever that you put out in water, you speak to it. It records every vibration. That's what this sign is represents. And when the house is combined with the sign of water, these addictions can have a severe impact on how to deal with the daily life, with how you cope with yourself, with how you seeing the world. Because when these Mahadashas of a planet that is placed in the 8th house, and the sign is water sign, it can be really devastating. The road feels like the road feels perilous. It just full of dangers, full of things that you feels like there's just too much to bear. And that is why Rahu being in 8th house can have a serious impact on someone's individual. But now, if the sign itself is earth sign like Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn, then there must still, of course, troubled. But because the sign is a water sign, the sign is earth sign, it gives some kind of a stability. because Earth sign, Rahu is like he is stable, but because it is Earth, now you put Earth, and there is also an earthquake. The ground is still shaking, of course, but you are just standing there. You know, it's different from like a water sign. It's like you standing on water. Like how are you even standing on water? It's just hard. And if you cannot swim, you cannot staying afloat, then you drown. And that's what the life it feels like when you have Rahu in the eighth house of any water sign. Now in the earth sign, it still gives some issue, but it's more of like generally more stable compared to the earth, water sign. But when it comes to a fire sign, like Sagittarius, Aries, and also Leo, it can give a sudden tendency to bring some kind of like outcome that is just unpredictable. It does give a health issue, but it's more of like sudden. But it also gives you a tendency to be more aggressive. I'd say more aggressive in nature. It's still giving you that tendency to cope on something, and you are addicted to it. It could be like drug abused, alcohol abused, any kind of substance, even coffee. A basic thing like coffee can be um, addiction. Now, because this is eighth house, now moved out to first house. Why I'm saying that in the first house, Rahu give tendency to bring addiction because Rahu has fifth aspect to fifth house, the seven to where the seven houses, and the nine goes to the ninth house itself. Now, Rahu, when it comes to a Chaya Graha, of course, you always have to see who is the depositor. If it's Mars, then it is Aries ascendant. If it's Cancer, then it is the Moon. You have to see who is the depositor. But let's say if you are an Aries ascendant, you have Rahu placed in the first house. You want to see where is Mars? Is Mars placed good in the natal chart? If Mars condition is strong, then of course this tendency of like getting into addiction, stuff like that, it can be no fault. It can be somehow giving you less tendency to be, you know, drowned into addiction. If Mars is of course strong. But if Mars is weak, if Mars is placed in Cancer, Mars doesn't receive any kind of Nicha Bhanga yoga, the cancellations of, debilitated Mars. This can have a detrimental impact on the health and also in how you cope with life. Because Mars is weak, technically weak. And if Rahu is also doesn't receive any kind of good aspect from benefic planet, like as an example, Jupiter or Venus, then, this can have a strong effect on the individual. If Jupiter is casting aspect, Rahu can be tame. So it's important to see which house Rahu is placed, which planet aspecting Rahu, the depositor and everything. You always want to check on this. And because this is most only in here, in the D1, You want to see it in D1. Of course, you can see it in Fargate charts like D9, but focus more on D1. Why? Because in D1, it represents you, your physical body. Now, um, I hope you guys understand here. It's a pretty simple technique to see what kind of planet giving addiction and stuff like that. But the main thing that is really have to focus on, see where is Rahu. Again, any planet can give an addiction, but Rahu is the only planet that do it excessively. The remedy when it comes to Rahu, the best remedy is to always have yourself. It's like you have to have this inner will to have that idea. No matter how difficult a life situations, if you have a bad placements of Rahu, you have to have this idea of saying this to yourself. No matter how difficult life can be, always think this way. Any kind of shortcuts, substance abuse, or anything that taking away that temporarily suffering by doing what drugs, substance, whatever it is that take you for a while, so you're living that reality. I always have this idea to say, this doesn't fix my life. What fix my life is, I need to focus on to get myself better, not through substance, but through inner will to get myself better. Any of this illusionary substance is not going to fix my life, but only to bring my life another problem. When you're doing this, when you're saying this to yourself, you're teaching Rahu. Rahu is like a planet that he's seeing you and give you that test to see your determination. And when you put that actions into a real life action, it can give you a tremendous amount of inner will. You just have to fight it. But of course, you want to also combine this with mantra. The only mantra I can think of is Durga mantra. That's it.